I think it's pretty safe to say that Rusev is done for as usual. You know, he took another loss, but this time via fruity fruit roll up, the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. So, yeah, the dude lost 1,000 times to Dominic Mysterio, a few times to Penta. This week was no different. We're supposed to take him seriously, but he loses every time. He's booked like a Bulgarian Drew McIntyre. He's a physically imposing guy, great presence, but you know, always loses when he has to back it up. This is no different, unfortunate. But we start off the show with Bloodline 5000.0, I guess, because why not? I mean, we don't have anything for the Usos. We want Roman to be a part of the show full time, but not have anything for him creative. So we'll just have him and Jimmy and Jay and be the Bloodline 3.0 again. But then somehow Jay was the world champion not too long ago. And he's back to being the side character for Roman, who's the current world champion. But the dude literally won gold while Roman was doing part-time. I don't know, like even though Jay's run was like a failed experiment, a failed manufacturing experiment, you know, and like him botching constantly and him having horrible matches, we can't erase history. The dude was world champion, so I don't get why he's back to being the right-hand man, side character, sidekick, lackey to Roman. I don't understand, but you know, the company's creatively bankrupt, so you know, might as well just put him in the same role that he was in before. But it doesn't really make sense for him to be in this role now because he's a two-time world champion, and he's won the IC title too. So very weird. But you know, Triple H signed a multi-year deal back with the company, so we're gonna get more of this Bloodline stuff. So I think this is just a new era, because we've had plenty of eras before, but this is like the new era. It's kind of hard to keep up, but anyways, we after that Bloodline segment ends, for some reason they're back together, even though, anyways, none of this makes sense. But you know, Seth comes out, says some words. I'm glad he's not like wearing women's clothing, you know, and robbing Becky's closet before he comes out. And yeah, I'm glad the dude's more dressed seriously, you know, so I can take him seriously. But then we get Braun Breaker coming out and interrupting Seth, and then they say nice words to each other, and then they pay each other compliments. And Seth was talking about how he wanted to face the best that NXT had back in 2023, so he asked Shawn Michaels to face Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker was like, yeah, you're a Hall of Famer and you're amazing and you're one of the best wrestlers in the world. And for some reason, dude, I swear, like, their promo was just them paying compliments to each other. The only insult was that Braun Breaker's, you know, he imitated Seth's, I am a revolutionary, I'm a visionary, but yeah, that was pretty unbearable from Seth. You know, Seth's booking when he was leader of the Vision had him literally come out every single night of Monday Night Raw, start the night, say the same stuff over and over again that he said the week previously. And then him and the Vision would main event the show and take on somebody like LA Knight or the Usos every single Monday. That was one of the worst parts of 2025 was the Vision on Raw starting and ending the show and nothing would happen. Oh, and I can't forget that the constant DQ finishes for the Vision too. Yeah, Braun hit it on the head. He told no lies. The Vision was unbearable. But anyways, after they get done paying compliments to each other, and after they get done kissing each other, and after they get done hugging and, you know, have Paul Heyman, you know, third wheeling and everything, we kind of just end the segment off with Seth saying that you're not ready. But Braun is ready because he legit just told him that he was the best, one of the best, and they spent this entire promo glazing each other just for Seth to say, yeah, you're not ready, though. All right. Oh, but one thing that a lot of people don't realize, Seth got that Seth got that scar under his eye from Braun. But so the chair shot from last week when he had Braun bleeding, that was a receipt, because according to Seth, that was a receipt. Because he botched the spear, like when he was running down the ramp, and people made memes about it at WrestleMania. And yeah, apparently he kicked Seth in the face, apparently, during that spear. But then after Seth walks off, and then that promo was pretty garbage, to be honest, because it was just them glazing each other. That's something I've noticed about a lot of promos recently. A lot of these wrestlers will sit there and glaze each other. Like, I remember on SmackDown when Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill were talking about each other's bodies and talking about how they liked each other's arms and how they have great physiques, and how Jade Cargill says, I can respect the hell out of that, but you're not better than me, but you do have nice arms though. And Rhea was like, yes, well, you have a nice body as well, and I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania, but your legs and arms and your six pack. I'm like, bro, are y'all supposed to be beefing, or are y'all? Anyways, we go backstage to see Stephanie McMahon being attacked by Raquel. I can watch Raquel all day, to be honest. This didn't bother me. But I think this is just Stephanie being written off TV. I guess something happened at WrestleMania or something, because she hasn't been in the ring since, as far as competition is concerned. Ethan Page coming out because Penta and Rusev were going to have this meaningless match. Now, of course, it has a meaning, but it's just meaningless to the fact that, the Intercontinental Championships booking is terrible. It has no stories, just exhibitions for the men and women. Like TKO was apparently happy with Triple H's booking, but he can't book the titles on the main roster. So then Rusev ends up losing, as I said before, jobbing out. But then on top of that, after he jobbed out and I keep calling it, and I keep saying it jobbed out, because Rusev keeps losing every week he's on TV. This isn't just, I don't like when people say someone's buried because they lose once or whatever, but Rusev loses every time he's on TV. So that's why. And then to make matters worse, he got hit with an OG cutter from Javon Evans. So, yeah. That's so unfortunate. Then we get Chad Gable's ops, Ludwig and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, who should just be Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate and Ludwig, but WWE is going to WWE, I guess. So then Becky Lynch comes out, and then she's going to have some open challenges as well. So apparently, since there's no story for Becky Lynch or any creative booking for her, everyone on the show has an open challenge. Rather it's, dude, like, this is so lazy. You mean to tell me that we had flip-flop between Becky, Maxine, to Becky, to AJ, to Becky again, just for there to not be a story for Becky, because, Triple H doesn't have those stories after he has someone win a title. He doesn't have, I've noticed that. He doesn't book people to have stories or any follow-up after they win a championship, and it's very blatant because you can tell. But yeah, anyways, Becky got the title at WrestleMania, and they had no follow-up creative for her, so just open challenges for everyone. Carmelo Hayes won the title and win an open challenge for everyone, so yeah, open challenge for EO, and then Asuka costs EO, and then for some reason the ref doesn't understand. Yeah, and that's another thing with the booking. The refs are booked to be dumb and stupid. Like for example, I'll go over later in the match, later in this review, but it's just like, so you have EO who's on the rope standing up, and then Asuka comes out, and then Asuka's down. No, EO's down. Asuka's standing over her, and then the referee looks at Asuka, looks at EO, and just doesn't pay attention to what happens. See, referees back then used to be smarter, you know, but this is weird. Like, you see that something clearly happened and you just let the match go on. That's like, these interferences are booked to be more lazy. Like, even the interferences are weird. Even the interferences have logic gaps. The referee isn't turned around all the way, and it's strange. It makes it more predictable because you can see the referee with their entire back turned to the other star. I don't know, man. It's just something about these modern interferences that just look a lot worse than how they used to. But yeah, anyways, Becky ends up winning with the rock bottom manhandle slam. And then we go to Becky's moveset is very basic. You know, it's just usually leg drops and like shoulder tackles and like rock bottom, and that's it. Like, her moveset isn't impactful to me personally. So then we go to Joe Hendry's first ever Raw performance as far as his concert is concerned, and he was chanting, you know, he was singing about firing Logan Paul, and the crowd sung along with it. And Logan Paul came out. I love this. Logan Paul came out with so much energy and so much anger and so much rage, and it was hilarious. It was really great. I really loved him on the mic. And then, you know, they attacked Joe Hendry, and then the Street Profits came out, and then they were backstage, and Seth was like, about last week, guys. And Montez was like, this ain't about you, Seth. You think you special. Dude really think he matters. This is about them titles. But I already know how those titles are. They're probably going to be only booked to defend them once a year. Because I remember the Judgment Day, they had the titles for like 167 days and only defended them like once or twice. We get Rey Mysterio versus El Grande, Latte, Americano, Frappuccino, Latte, Matcha. And Rey Mysterio beats him. But the thing during this match that really made zero sense, again, with the refs being booked to be idiots, there's a steel plate that usually, you know, Ludwig loads his mask with, but the referee saw it because Chad Gable, he knocked it out of his hand. He knocked it out of his hand when he was about to go for it. And then the referee just looked at the steel plate, looked at Ludwig, looked at the steel plate and said nothing about it. These referees for some reason, the refs are booked to be idiots. I don't understand. And then we get Kairi Sane being completely erased from WWE history completely in this vignette between Asuka, you know, talking about Asuka and you know, Io, and, you know, just, it's like Kairi Sane never even existed. You know, it rubs me the wrong way. The fact that they booked her to be Asuka's victim just for her to not even be. It's weird. It's truly strange. And then we get Grayson Waller being squashed by Obafemi, and Obafemi has an open challenge too. He's going to start having open challenges because they have nothing creative for him either. This seems like they don't have anything creative for anybody. Even their biggest stars, they don't know what to do with them. So they just say, "Yeah, all right, go out there and have an open challenge." Okay. This is so sad. This is really sad, to be honest. But anyways, Roxanne and Liv are talking, and Liv is just pretty much saying that, you know, she just wants to know if she can trust Roxanne, and then Roxanne, because she's in her hometown, so she's like, yeah, it would have been, what would have made more sense is if Roxanne got betrayed by Liv Morgan. Due to they should have called an audible here and had Roxanne be turned on by Liv and Raquel, considering that she was getting Stone Cold Steve Austin level reactions in her hometown. Even after Stephanie Valkyria got attacked and Roxanne was there, she got a loud pop. So for them not to just go ahead and pull the trigger was pretty strange. I thought they were going to when Roxanne won the match and. Nothing, you know. Roxanne won the match and they had to zoom in. That was a perfect time for them to do so. But anyways, Finn Balor infiltrates the clubhouse, and then they have this meaningless tag match between Bayley and Lyra for the 9,000th time. You know, I truly believe that if they weren't in Laredo, Texas, nobody would have cared about this match, because for the women on Raw, you know, it's just either you're booked into irrelevancy, you're booked to be in a tag team that you have the same matches every week, or you're booked on main event before the show even starts. Very sad. But anyways, Roxanne wins, gets the loudest pop of the night. Even louder than Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns comes out and then Jacob talks to him about he didn't need a week. He barely even needed an hour to figure out that he wanted the title. Roman Reigns said that, you know, he hasn't earned it. You know, it's just nepotism. So then what Jacob does is put the Tongan death grip on Roman, which is really cool to see. The Haku special. It was really nice to see. And then we got Roman down, and you know he even hit Jacob in the head with the microphone, and Jacob no sold it and didn't, you know, hit him with the, like, that was really cool to see. And then Roman down, and then Jacob holding up the title, and then Roman Reigns pretty much says, "You want me? Well, you got me May 9th in Florida." Backlash, even though that we already knew this was going to happen because they kind of just, you know, teased it already and gave it away. So yeah, the show ended, but you know, it was very underwhelming. The only good thing about the show was Roxanne's crowd reaction, and I would have to say the end of the show. That was it. Like, nothing happened for about 2.5 hours. Another thing, Roman Reigns even addressed that the title was made in spite of him because he didn't defend the other title. So he's holding the title that was made because he didn't defend the other title, which makes this title useless and kills the entire point of why that title even exists. So he's holding a championship that doesn't really mean anything anymore, according to WWE standards. Because Triple H said that now you can have a champion who doesn't demand you to acknowledge him, who actually shows up to work. So, well, now that Roman is the champion, what does that say about the championship now? Anyways, I'm using too much common sense and logic. That's not good for a show like this where nothing makes sense. And when things do make sense, it's just because it happened already. Like the Bloodline. They're just Bloodline, but with baby faces instead of heels. That's it. But yeah, that's all that happened. Well, yep, that's about it.